All right, what's going on, everyone? My name is Will Padilla. I am the host of the Sell That SAS podcast, and I am excited to talk to you today. This is something that I have gone through in my career and something I know a lot of you might be dealing with, where it's looking for a mentor to help guide you in your software sales career. There's going to be plenty of obstacles in your career that you're going to need someone to call on to ask their advice because they've been there and they've done that. And personally, throughout my entire sales career, I've always really been fortunate enough to sync up and be actually in contact with amazing mentors. In this episode, I'm going to show you guys my journey of mentorship and what that's looked like even at an early age of 16, 17 years old with wiser individuals in my life and the impact it's had on my career to where I'm at now as a senior account executive, 28 years old, Scottsdale, Arizona, runs my own software sales, content creation agency, Sell That SAS, LLC. These are all great things. Number one, I wouldn't have gotten there without God, and I wouldn't have gotten there without the individuals that God placed in my life to serve as mentors. So this episode is just going to be 100% real, me talking to you guys. Is a solo episode, and I wanted to do a solo episode because I just felt like the Sell That SAS podcast needed a little bit of me. I've done a lot of interviewing and I've learned a lot and it's been awesome, but I just wanted to show you guys, this is Will Padilla. This is what I'm up to. And this is how I think it can make an impact on your life when it comes to finding a mentor. So breaking into software sales is a whole, that's a mixed bag of how to get in there. And I've done an episode on how to break in. I'll do a more in-depth one. I've got some more stuff coming for you guys from my own business and the offerings I'm going to be able to offer you guys as listeners. But breaking into software sales is hard enough, right? And good chance if you've broken into software sales and you're listening to this podcast, you probably found a mentor, whether that be online or actually in person. So even speaking from experience, I've received hundreds of messages of followers that wanted to just pick my brain in regards to learning how to get into software sales. Early on in my content creation journey, I was able to have time for those pick my brain situations. But as I started gaining more and more followers and the messages kept coming in, I just didn't have the bandwidth. And so individuals who really wanted to take that extra step for my advice and my mentorship, they went the extra mile, they took the extra step. One of those I shared on a podcast previously was the young man who messaged me and he said, I'd love to take you out for 18 holes at Phoenix's #1 golf course, the Phoenician. And that was the best way for him and I to have a relationship. And he still messages me today in his software sales career. But that is maybe a bit over the top for some of you. Maybe for some of you, you're saying, actually, that sounds just right. I like you. But if it's a little bit too much for you and you don't have the resources, you don't have access to those things, I think offering up what I've done with a lot of other individuals is just them getting my attention. So they would basically send me a video. I've had a few girls send me videos of themselves, introducing themselves on LinkedIn, basically hey, I'm so-and-so. I'd love an opportunity to chat with you. I'm trying to break into software sales. I love your videos. And I'm just asking for 10 minutes. I've had different people message me on Instagram, send me voice notes. I think it's really a great way to get my attention. I can only respond to so many DMs. So when I do see a voice note or I do see a video from anyone, I definitely take an extra look at it and really appreciate the effort. And I've been able to actually build a good amount of relationships and mentor so many different individuals trying to break into software sales and actually have gotten them hired. And I've also been able to mentor those who are in software sales right now, whether it's SDRs or AEs trying to excel in their career. They call me, we have a relationship. I can give them that quick advice. That's kind of starting at the beginning of, mentorship when it comes to software sales. Once you're in the software sales role, then it becomes, okay, I've gotten in. Now, who am I going to call to navigate these tough challenges? There's a million. Maybe you get a terrible territory and your territory legitimately sucks. And you're handed this territory as a sales rep. And now you're wondering, how am I going to make this work? What am I going to do? Same thing if you're a sales rep who says, we have no tech stack. Or we have email deliverability issues. Trust me, I've been there and it sucks. What am I going to do if the emails can't deliver? What am I going to do if my sales leadership doesn't support me? What am I going to do if I'm put on a PIP? I've never been put on a PIP, but my gosh, have I had calls of people who are on a PIP looking for advice? And all of these things come up in your software sales career. And gosh, is it frustrating? And is it challenging? But you know what? You know what's going to make a difference is that mentor you have in your corner. For me, I have several different mentors. When it comes to hiring in my career and like actual career progression, I got one guy, he had him on the podcast before. His name is Brent Orsuga. Brent is an expert when it comes to recruiting and just all things career progression, especially for a young individual like myself who doesn't really understand how to navigate these really intense corporate cutthroat career waters. And every time I have a career question or anytime looking to make a job change or anytime looking to try and get promotions, I call Brent. And so whoever your Brent is when it comes to your career, you need to find one, whether it's through social media or in person. You need someone in your life who could be your career coach, someone who's done it before. So ideally, someone who's in their 30s or 40s. And that's not to be ageist, but let's be real here. The older someone is, the more experience that they've had. Typically, the more wisdom that they've had and the more situations they've been in. So Brent crushes it for me. I call him on speed dial anytime I want to make a career jump or anytime I'm looking for career advice. He's the guy I go to. You're probably going to also run into a situation where you're trying to navigate, as I mentioned, how do I get out of this terrible territory? How do I escape this PIP? All of those are great questions. And you're probably going to need to meet someone who has been there, done that. So this is probably someone that's maybe 4 or 5 years in software sales. Maybe it's even a higher level. For me, the guy I go to when it comes to battling in-person, like actual or in-company actual challenges with my role is 2 people. Number one, it's the former VP of sales I used to work with at Grin, Chris Hardiman. And then it's also a guy I had on the podcast. His name is Mark Cosaglow, the former VP of sales at Outreach. Very blessed and fortunate enough to be in touch with these 2 individuals. But I can't tell you, especially Mark, can't tell you how many times I've called him and said, hey man, I'm going through this, or I'm dealing with this at this company, or this prospect's telling me this, and I don't know how to get out of this. Guess who's been there, done that? Mark. Mark has been there, done that. He's been in software sales for 14, 15 years, maybe more. I'm not really sure. The key thing here is that this is someone that has been there, done that, older than me, wiser than me. And me and you, if you're listening, have to be in the humble and humility position to actually go seek mentorship. Because if you think I know it all, YouTube's going to solve my issues, I'm just going to Google it, Chat GPT, that's not actual tailored advice for your career, for your software sales journey. That's not what you need. You need to humble yourself. This is coming from my own experience. You need to humble yourself, seek someone out in these scenarios and say, I need help. This is what I'm going through. And here's the reality. When you put yourself in a humble position and you're literally not going there to argue, but you're going there to actually listen and learn, me as a mentor, Mark as a mentor, Brent as a mentor, whoever the mentor is in my life, actually wants to pass back knowledge. It's in our human DNA to learn, excel, and then pass back that knowledge. Trust me, I don't know how God wired us that way, but we are just totally built to grow, excel, learn, and then pass back for the next generation. This is good news because that's a good news for everyone that someone out there wants to share information with you. However, again, you have to be humble. You have to be ready to learn. And this is not a combat session. This is not a session for you to say, well, actually, I know better. And I really wouldn't say that. Just go in there. Don't say anything. Listen and learn from their expertise. So that's what I would say when it comes to finding a mentor in your career for those situations, not only for career progression, but also learning how to navigate your software sales career. Then you need to find a mentor who can help you in other areas of life, because software sales is just one aspect. And yes, I am super blessed to call people on speed dial whenever I have a question about my career, a question about anything. I want to give a shout out to also a couple people here. Morgan Ingram, he's a friend of mine, and I would, it's weird to call him a mentor, but in terms of prospecting, he's the guy I go to. When it comes to prospecting questions, he's the guy that I look up to. I would recommend you find someone in your corner who's a really good prospector that you can bounce ideas off, that has just done it more than you and maybe has tried new things and seen success. You probably want to find one of those individuals. But speaking on broader terms, and when it comes to actually mentorship and the impact it has on you as a software sales rep or you as an individual, is just the ability to feel like you have someone in your corner. I can't, this software sales corporate world, it's cutthroat, and they will axe you faster than you can blink. They're just going to look at you on a sheet. And again, this is most of corporate software sales, is if they're having a down month or a down quarter, they're not really playing emotion into this. They're just looking at the sheet of people who are at quota and the ones who aren't. And they're letting go the people who are not at quota, even though they might be really good people, even though it might be an off quarter, whatever it is. I've been there. I've been part of a company that's done 3 mass layoffs, and I survived all 3, thank God. But that was only because I was well positioned from a quota perspective. It wasn't because they liked me or I was, a better personality than the next person. It was strictly because I was at quota. There's a lot of people who find themselves in an unfortunate situation of being laid off. And the last thing you want to do is feel like you have no one in your corner. There's no one you can call. There's no mentor for your career. There's no mentor in your software sales journey. There's no mentor for prospecting. I'll tell you, I have these guys on speed dial. Anything I'm going through in my career, and they probably get annoyed of me, but I also get it too. I'll have people literally constantly message me like, Will, what do you think about this? Hey man, I'm on a PIP. How do I get out of this? Hey man, my boss is really a freak, and I'm like, should I leave? Should I stay? I've probably had 100 of these conversations, and I'm going in there, number one, because I've been there, and number two, to share advice. They can take the advice. They don't have to take it, but I guarantee you they come to me, they're wanting to implement what I said into their situation. Even broader than this, think about it like this, everyone who's listening. If you want to get in shape and you want to really excel in your fitness journey, are you going to go to the person who's out of shape to help you understand how to get in shape? Or are you going to go to the guy that everyone knows? He's fit, he's friendly, he's got great tips, he shares great tips online. Are you going to go to him or the person who doesn't have what you want? I've got a person for fitness. There's a guy that I'm really good friends with who knows everything about calisthenics. His name's Marquise. He taught me the foundation of calisthenics in general, how to build my frame from push-ups, dips, pull-ups, and he gave me a program for free. And it was just because we're friends, and I humbly came to him and said, I need help. I haven't been seeing a ton of progress from weightlifting. Maybe I'm just not that thrilled with it. And I've heard about this thing called calisthenics that you post about. Can you tell me more about it? And anytime I have a calisthenics question, how do I build my chest? How do I define the triceps? What variations should I do? I call Marquise. So he has what I want. He's very cut up individual, and he doesn't lift weights, and he's all calisthenics. So to me, I want that. That's the goal. I'm not there yet. Might take months, years, I don't know, but I want what he's doing. In a more personal sense, to personalize this for the audience, I'm single. I want to be married and have children, which is something I really want to do, but God's timing hasn't landed on it hasn't landed in my life yet of meeting the right person. But it'd be pretty foolish if I kept asking advice from a 40, 50-year-old dude who's single, who sleeps around all the time. And not to condemn that person, that's their life, and I'm not better than anyone else. But it'd be pretty foolish to ask for advice on how to land a wife with someone who is living a complete opposite lifestyle of the one that I want. Rather, what I do now, going to married couples in my church and just asking them questions about how to steward and lead a godly relationship and what to look for in a wife, because they have a wife and they have kids and they seem pretty darn happy. So again, they have what I want, and this is personalized. You could think about the same thing if you're an SDR right now and you want to be an AE. You wouldn't go to an SDR to get advice on how to be an AE. You would go to an AE and ask them how they became an AE from their SDR journey. If you're an AE and you're like, man, oh man, I really want to go to enterprise. Well, you can go out and seek. We have LinkedIn, everyone. You could search enterprise, you can search second degree connections, and you can start to connect with people and say, hey, I know you're connected with X, Y, and Z. I'm thinking about transitioning from account executive to enterprise AE, but I'm really just curious on like how to go about this journey. Can you help me? Now, here's the thing. When it comes to cold outreach like that, someone probably will spend time with you. But here's what I always did. This is just me, and this is advice for you. When I wanted to become an AE or a senior AE, I sought out other individuals to help me. They were very gracious to help me, but I wanted to go one step further. I said, hey, what's your email? They said, why? Because I want to send you something. So I'd probably send them a $20 or $25 Starbucks gift card, not because they asked, but because I appreciated it. So yes, I am somewhat paying for advice, but you're not leading with paying for advice. I think that's not good. But if I were you, I would stack together 5 to 10 Starbucks gift cards for $20, $25 and start trying to network with other individuals. And after the conversation, say, I'd like to send you something, and personalize it with a note. As you start to go up in the ranks from SDR, enterprise, director of sales, the mentorship is more and more needed the higher you go. I'm not there yet. One day I would like to be a CEO. I'd love to be a CEO of Sell That SAS LLC. I mean, technically I am, but you know what I'm talking about on a bigger level. I'm not at that level at nearly right now, or not even close, but you guarantee it. I guarantee you, when I get to that level and when I'm able to have employees and I'm able to have a successful business, there's no other way around it. I'm going to have a highly motivated, sharp group of entrepreneurs around me who have been there, done the thing that I'm trying to accomplish, and literally have them pour into me with knowledge and advice because I don't know better. I've never done it. This episode, guys, I really just wanted to come in here for mentorship to talk about the importance of it, because I feel like so many people are lost right now. Like they're just going throughout life and they're not really, again, they don't feel like anyone's in their corner. They feel like this software sales thing isn't for them. But maybe if they had someone in their corner that has been there, done that, to listen and to share advice, maybe they would think differently. I don't know. That's why I made this episode though. The Bible, it says, I believe it's in Proverbs or Psalms, don't quote me here, guys, but it says, a war is won through many advisors. That verse, whether it's in Proverbs or Psalms, I'm sorry, I didn't have it pulled up. Whether it's in Proverbs or Psalms, it's the same thing in life. Nothing is accomplished without the help of wise advisors. The Bible also says, when you hang with the wise, you become wise. When you hang with the fools, you become foolish. Something along those lines. Again, this is Will's paraphrase, but verify that in the scripture. What I'm telling you is that when you hang around the wise, like I have in my career, by the grace of God, yes, I've excelled. Things have been really great for me. But this is not my own doing. This is all glory to God. And those of you who are listening, you may not be a Christian. That's okay. For me, I am. It is my faith. It is my guiding point in life. It's my moral compass. And it's how I'm able to have this platform with you guys is because of my faith in God. That's what I believe. And that's what I know. And if you're wondering about mentorship, message me. I'm not pitching myself as the ultimate mentor. I can help, but maybe I can point you in the right direction. Or maybe I can share some advice on how to actually go about mentorship in finding someone, or in different areas of life, finding someone you can rely on. And I want to get to a point in life where I'm not picking up the phone for someone's take. I'm not picking up the phone for someone's opinion. I'm not picking up the phone for someone's advice that I trust. I always want to feel like there's someone smarter and more wise than me in every category of life that I can ask a question on. And this is why if you ask most old people who are, getting in their late years, if you go up to them and you ask them for their advice, they're going to be so excited to share with you. Number one, because no one asks, and people, honestly, in society in America treat old people pretty badly. They kind of feel like they don't exist. Not to say I see why, but we're a very fast hustle culture type of society. And when old people are kind of just hanging around, it's hard for the younger generation to really appreciate them. But if you're listening, now you probably know someone who's old, 75 plus, and you might think, oh, they're not going to want to talk. Yes, they will. Sit them down for a cup of coffee and say, would you tell me about that story of how you became the VP of sales? Or were you telling me about that story, how you built that business? Will you tell me about that story of how you met grandma? Like anything that is really accomplished in their life, ask them about. And then they'll say, well, why are you asking? Well, you say, because I'm curious and, one day I want to start my business. So I want to just listen to you and hear your story. And then they'll just go on, and it's a win-win situation. You learn something and they actually feel seen. So to wrap this up, guys, don't go at this software sales career alone. Like, this is a really challenging career. In the corporate world in general, my gosh, is it challenging. I'm going to get some water here, but this corporate world is challenging enough. And so you don't want to go out this alone. You don't want to go at this alone. Find a mentor for your career. Find a mentor for every aspect of life. That's my advice. And, I'd say number one for me, I always verify with God. Okay, is this God's word? Talk to God, and then go actually talk to trusted advisors that can help me in my situation. I can't tell you how many times I've been calling people 1, 2 in the morning. What do I do? What do I do? And they pick up the phone. God bless those individuals, because I know I can be somewhat annoying sometimes. Now I'm that guy. I'm the guy that people call in frantic situations who are young software sales reps. And it's such a blessing. I want to do it at a higher scale, at a much grander scale. I want to be able to help more and more individuals just with everything in their career, because I understand that I've been fortunate enough to have the right mentors. So if you are looking for mentorship, as I said, I can help you, or I can point you in the right direction. So guys, I hope you really found value in this episode of me just kind of talking for however many minutes it's been. But I do want to just give you guys, a last heads up of when it comes to my content moving forward. I'm not stopping. This is going to be ramped up more and more and more. And to everyone who has supported the Sell That SAS brand, I appreciate you, because again, I started this not really knowing the impact that it's having on individuals all over the world in their software sales career. And just to know that I'm able to have this platform is such an honor. And I treat the time you've taken to listen to this podcast, very seriously. And I take it as a great privilege. So a lot of great content coming out. Let me know if you like these solo episodes. Would you go ahead and, tongue twister. Would you go ahead and do me a favor and leave a review on this podcast if you haven't already, but also shoot me a LinkedIn message if you like this episode. If you did like this episode, I'll make sure to mention you in the next solo episode and say, hey, X, Y, and Z told me they liked it. Here's another one. So feel free to let me know, guys, if you like these solo episodes. I really enjoy it once in a while. And I wanted to give you a little bit of taste of Will Padilla. I know I'm the interviewer guy, but I'm also the host of this podcast. And it's important that I connect with the audience on a one-to-one level. Thank you, everyone. And join us in 2 weeks, every Wednesday at 8 a.m. MST. Thank you.